it does it. We just color a sheet, perfectly fine. I'm in a green mood today, so I'm wearing all green. And well, green is in paganism it's a color of witchcraft, but in the biblical sense, it's a color that refers to life, refers to abundance, to freshness. So, hold on. I can hear myself very well, but I still want to ask you all here. Can you all hear me clearly? Let me know in the live chat, please. By the way, I have the live chat right over here with me. So I have my other phone, my other smartphone over there, this one over here. So I can check the live chat and I can teach at the same time. Okay. Okay, so I don't have to wear these headphones anymore, so that one's going over there. Let me just, hold on, put in some more natural daylight. Praise the Lord. Now, today's live stream is about gaslighting. What is gaslighting? Now, gaslighting is a psychological term used in psychology. I'm an anthropologist and a sociologist. I'm a social scientist, just like a psychologist is, just like a public administrator is. But I'm not into the field of psychology, but it doesn't mean I don't have psychological knowledge, because psychology plays a big role in anthropology. And I'm an anthropologist, as you all know. So I want to explain where the term gaslighting comes from. All right. There was this theater play. There was this theater play that was written in 1938 called Gaslights, with a space between gas and light. It refers to those lamps that they had all in the streets in London in the 1880s, because the theater play Gaslights takes place in 1880. They used to have those oil lamps that would generate a gas, and the gas would turn into a light. So they would put some oil or some, whether it was whale oil or olive oil or whatever type of oil it was, put a flame on it, and the gas came out of it would lighten up the environment. That is before they put electric lights. Okay? So to gaslight in the late 19th century simply means you put on street lights. All right? But okay, in 1940 in the United Kingdom, they made a British movie called Gaslights. Okay? And in the United States, 4 years later, they made an American version of the movie Gaslights. That's more focused on the American situation. Now, what was the movie Gaslight all about? I've written a summary of it over here. You have a husband who's faking that his rich wife is mentally ill, so he has full access to her money. That's how simple it is. You can watch the movie yourself if you want. It's a very old one. I'm sure somewhere on the Internet Archive you can watch it for free. But that's the summary of the movie. This man is married to a rich woman, and he just wants to take advantage of all her money. But he knows very well that she would never allow this. She would never allow him to waste all the money she got from her relatives or that she worked for. So to be able to waste all her money with a lavish lifestyle, he pretends as if she, the wife, is mentally ill. So nobody believes her. So anytime he takes money from her account and she confronts him, he would deny that ever happened. He would even claim like she's mentally ill. I'm her husband. How can I steal from her? We share everything in common, whatever. And every time the wife would be exhausted at home, he would leave the house to spend the money, but he put the light on. The light that's turned on by gas. So later, psychologists began to use this term gaslight to refer to the thing that was going on in the movie, where you had one individual faking as if the other individual was mentally ill. Why? Just to discredit the other individual so that they can gain an advantage. Now, The term gaslighting is relatively new, but the action refers to is old as ancient times. Faking as if someone else is mentally unstable has been used throughout human history to discredit someone just so that people can get an advantage otherwise wouldn't have. So gaslighting is nothing new. It's been going on for a long, long time. What is new, however, is the fact that today a lot of people don't want to admit gaslighting exists. Okay? So, based on the summary of that movie, I made, it's not a formula, but I put out a pattern that you'll recognize in every instance of gaslighting. Anytime there's gaslighting going on, whether it's a marriage partner gaslighting the other marriage partner, whether it's your parents gaslighting you, or whether it's children gaslighting the parents, or whether it's society as well gaslighting you, anytime it goes on, there are three factors involved. You have the denial that goes on. The public is denying something they don't want to face. So now they want to distract themselves so they can escape having to face the thing they don't want to admit. That's simple this. The public is denying something amongst them. So there's an elephant in the room, figuratively speaking, something in their face that they don't want to discuss. So now they want to distract themselves with some drama, with some conflict. And the conflict is artificial. That doesn't mean the conflict is only the conflict is real in the sense that people get stressed out, people get hurt. But the conflict is orchestrated on purpose to distract the public from the one thing they don't want to fix. Okay? So gaslighting is also a political tool that's used often. Okay? And in gaslighting, you have the subject, the people that are the one that's denying, and the one that's denying wants a price. What is the price they're looking for? The escape. The escape is all they're looking for. And then, for them to get the escape, they need to do it at someone else's expense. Because to just go out there and escape, you will make yourself look bad. So they have to have an excuse for escaping. For example, let's say you have a man. He's married, he has children, and he just wants to escape and go wild, like he's in his 20s again. Throwing away all responsibilities for his family and the community. If he would do that just like that, people are going to say, yo, you're a horrible man. You have a family over there, you have a wife, you have obligation to the community, and you just throw everything away just because you want to have fun. It would look very bad on him. So he may pretend as if his wife is cheating on him. He may even make fake receipts as if his wife is cheating, and then claim that he has been mentally broken down by the way his wife was behaving, and now people have sympathy for him, and now he ends up staying away from his family, so-called to the comfort, while still just having a good time over there. So-called good time. Same way, we have a woman that secretly fell out of love with her husband, and now she wants to spark her love again with her ex-boyfriend. But here's the problem. She's married now, she has children. So now she tries to get rid of her family and her husband just so she can escape with that ex-boyfriend, whoever. So she has to come up with an excuse. Namely, she's been neglected, abused, whatever. Now, don't get me wrong. It happens that people get abused and mistreated, and because of that, they break down mentally. That happens all the time. And here's the thing. People that want to escape so badly, they often fake as if they're victims so that they can escape. And they are professional actors in the sense that they know how to play it well. But here's the problem. They play it way too well. And eventually people notice, this is a bit too much. Okay? So understand that gaslighting is a common thing amongst fallen mankind. It's not something recent, it's not something new, and it's not something that only happens in Europe or whatever. It's something that's going on for a long time. A lot of you may have been gaslighted also. Maybe before you became a believer, you just participated in gaslighting too. Gaslighting comes down to the following. You and people around you have a thing you want to escape from. Maybe it is that there's a lot of trash in the streets. Let's say there's a lot of trash in the streets everywhere. Why? Because there are not that many bins out there. Okay, there's all this trash out there. And the trash men are not picking up all the trash because it's way too much. And people get upset with all the trash men on the streets, but also here's the issue. All that litter on the streets, where does it come from? It doesn't just fall out of the sky or just appear out of nowhere. The litter in the streets comes from the public that's throwing away the litter. So if you get upset with all the litter or trash in the streets, then you ask yourself, how come the litter and trash are there? Oh, it's us that keep buying stuff we don't need and throw things away. We're the ones wasting resources over here. So okay, so the real problem is the public is wasting resources. That is a neglectful thing they have to face about themselves as a community. Because the litter in the streets is an outworking of their internal neglect towards one another. But that neglect is quite embarrassing. So the public does not want to admit this neglect. So there is a lot of litter in the streets. They're all upset about it, but no one wants to address how come the litter is there. Now they want to put the blame for the litter on the working class, or they may put the litter on migrants. They'll look for any target. They'll look for any target to focus upon. Why aren't they focused on solving the problem of all the litter in the streets? Because to solve the problem, they realize that they are the problem that caused the litter to be on the streets, and they don't want that. So they're in denial. They are in denial. So they're pursuing this an escape. That's the price you're looking for. So they need to distract themselves with some conflict. So now you'll hear all types of conspiracy theories on YouTube, or you hear all types of weird news messages about migrants being arrested. And now you think, okay, but those migrants have been there for so long. I mean, all this litter is going on for years. How come we are as good as so much litter on the streets? Very simple. You as community, you're wasting a lot of stuff. But the thing is, because people don't want to admit their wasteful attitude, they are projecting this waste, they're projecting this effect on other people, namely on people who can't easily fight back or stand up for themselves or shut them down. So the public now wants victims that they can focus on so they are distracted from facing that one thing they don't want to look at. So the victims now are told that it's their fault, is all this litter in the streets. Even though those victims that they target are very few people. So the victims think, how can we, very few people, cause all the litter in the streets? What is this? Logically, it doesn't end up, because indeed it doesn't end up. But it's an issue. The people that accuse them of being at fault for the problem, they know it doesn't add up. Just a few men here and there cannot cause all the litter in the streets. But people don't care about whether it makes sense or not. That's what I should get through to you. When it comes to gaslighting, gaslighting is something that's normally done by delusional people. I'm not saying that only delusional people gaslight. I'm not saying that. But in general, it is delusional people that gaslight. Because here's what you don't understand about delusional people. Someone that's delusional, they don't care whether their escape is worth it or not. They just want to escape desperately. They're so desperate to escape that they don't care whether they put themselves nor others in danger. That's why delusional people are so dangerous. And delusional people, they insist on having people to transfer their unrest upon. They will blame the people they dislike or have issues with for how they feel, how bad things go in their lives. Logically, you'll think, hold on a minute. You have issues with your ex-husband for over 10 years. And now I only had a product in your life 2 years ago. Now it's all of me. What? So understand this. Gaslighting does not add up. It's not logical, it's not realistic, it's contradicting. And that's why it messes up with your head if you're the target of gaslighting. When people gaslight you, the purpose is for you to lose your mind. Simple as that. The purpose of others gaslighting you is for you to lose your mind. Why? Because once you lose your mind, even just for a moment, they can use it against you every time to discredit you when you call them out. Simple as that. So, gaslighting is an assault on your mental health, is what it is. But it's an assault that's done in a soft way. I mean, if someone begins to scream at you, smashes their head on the table, begins to threaten you, begins to throw objects, that's a direct assault on your mind. And it's also physical assault if they hit you physically. But if someone assaults you mentally, but they don't scream at you, nor make very hard sounds, nor look at you in a threatening way, it's very hard for you to call out the fact that you're being violated. Gaslighting is a violation that's done in a soft way. You're not aware you're being violated. Because gaslighting causes you to doubt your own sanity and to doubt your own instincts. For example, everyone could have been talking about pizza, some pizza they ate from some pizzeria nearby. They were all talking about it last night. You even got it on tape. You recorded it. I put it on Snapchat, on Instagram. They were talking about the pizza. So a week later, you asked them, what pizza you guys ate? They said, pizza? What pizza? Well, I don't mean you guys ate pizza today, but a week ago. A week ago, we didn't eat the pizza a week ago. You think, okay, maybe some of you guys were drunk, you don't remember anymore. But then you showed them the video that you recorded, put on Instagram, and they were all talking about the pizza. And they say, you don't remember this. Guys, you don't remember it, here it is on tape. You guys will talk about pizza all the time. Which pizza was it? And they all walk away or don't want to talk about it. Or try to say, oh, that video is fake, even though everyone says it's on that video. That's gaslighting. Because now, they as a group insist that you are wrong, that you are crazy, even though the proof you shows otherwise. So in gaslighting, proof is ignored and denied because the public is pursuing an escape. And one thing one should understand, the public cares more about their escapes than care about being right. The public doesn't care about being right. They don't even care about making sense. The number one thing on the public's mind is to escape. So that is what they do. They focus on escaping. So for them to escape at ease without looking back or dump as a community, they need to distract themselves with some conflict. So some people may argue with you, fight with you, get upset with you, and later you ask, what was that all about? Years later, you reflect on the situation, think, what is going on? You can't find where you were at fault. Here's the thing, you were not at fault. But they insist on you to believe you were at fault, so that you'll be focused on fixing a problem inside you that didn't exist. Because if you're focused on looking at yourself all the time, that means you're not focused on them. That means you don't see whatever it is that they're hiding. Look, in gaslighting, the community has something to hide. Something they don't dare to, they don't want this to come out. So they want a few people to be the target of contention so that the target of contention are seen in a negative daylight. They want some people around them to be viewed in negative daylight so that their negativity, it doesn't come to the light. Before I continue, is this here clear onto you? Let me know. Let me see. It's all clear. Let me know, please, in the live chat. So understand this. Gaslighting isn't just people saying you're crazy or pretend like they didn't hear you. Gaslighting is insisting that the past that happens never happened. For example, if you come from a neglectful household where people neglect you over and over again. And now as an adult, you have all these mental issues. People are going to ask, how come you develop all these mental issues? It must come from somewhere. Nobody is born with mental issues. And then you will talk to your family and friends, and they say, oh, we don't know what happened to him. We don't know what happened. Eventually, we're going to think, hold on a minute. You guys grew up with this guy. How come you guys grew up with this guy? You guys had no idea how he's messed up to date like this. I've used this example before, but there was this teacher I know who works in, I don't know whether it was New Jersey or Boston, but there was this teacher from the United States. I spoke to him a few times. And he had this pupil. He was teaching class to children. This child, he was a girl, was like 8 or 10 years old, something like that. And she was always angry, misbehaving, very emotional. So one day the teacher called in the parents asking, why is your daughter overreacting and so high and so sad all the time? They said, oh, we don't know what goes on. We don't know what goes on with our daughter. This would go on for a few weeks. One day, the principal of the school called him in. Let's say this guy's name was Roger. I'm not going to use this guy's real name. The principal asked Roger, did you call in the parents of that 8-year-old that's often misbehaving and being very sad all the time? Yeah, I did. And, well, they don't know what goes on. They're really sad. They keep saying they want to find help for their daughter, whatever. The principal told them, stop. And Roger thought, well, stop. The principal, no, it's not you, Roger. Listen, I want you to stop talking now, because you're not making sense. Sir, that's what they said. The principal told them, Roger, they're lying to you. Roger, use your brain. That 8-year-old wasn't an 8-year-old all the time. She was a little baby once, a little baby that they brought up. And how come this child developed all these issues and had no clue where it comes from? How come it's been going on for weeks and still there's no improvement? And you say, oh, we want the best for our daughter, blah, blah, blah. They're lying to you. They know very well why the child is messed up. And the thing is, they're not able to face the fact they failed as parents. And they won't admit that the community failed them too. So they want to pretend like they want to fake like they are looking for a solution, but they're not. They just want it to go away. At some point, when the daughter's a teenager and she gets more functional, they're going to blame her. Watch. And you know what? I didn't find out what's going on with that little girl. The believer didn't tell me, because the believer was fired soon afterwards, because he wouldn't take some quick fix. Well, I know you guys know what I'm talking about. But just think about it. Those parents were gaslighting this believer. Oh, we don't know what happened to our daughter. We don't know why she's like this. Logically speaking, she's 8 years old. She lives in your house. She grew up with you. She was like a little baby a few years ago. How the heck did she end up so dysfunctional and none of you know anything about it? And you guys keep acting like, well, we're so surprised. Help. Come, get out of here. Get out of here. But here's the thing. What happened with that believer is also what mainstream media is doing to the public on a daily basis. Haven't you noticed that mainstream media never offers a solution? Hey, I want you to answer this. When was the last time mainstream media openly suggested a solution to the public? When was I'm not talking about just any media, mainstream media, the big guys, CNN, CNBC, BBC, Fox News, or Al Jazeera, whatever. When was the last time mainstream media actually came with solutions for the public? Let me know. I don't talk about talk shows where so-called experts give their opinions. I talk about actual solutions, programs that will benefit the community in the long run. When was the last time mainstream media came with projects that will benefit the public in the long run? Oh, oh, yes, you are all saying it very well. They never come. Because listen, mainstream media is witchcraft. When we think about witchcraft, think about old ladies with a ball of blood or a crystal ball doing weird things or flying on a broomstick. That's what Disney made us think a witch do. Well, witchcraft is a feminine thing. It's where women invert femininity and uses inversion to trick people around them. That's witchcraft. Well, that's what mainstream media is doing. Because it's a corporate witchcraft, there are also men who have a participation in it. Now, men cannot be witches, men are warlocks, but still, mainstream media is corporate witchcraft. They are blurring your worldview by giving you bad news over and over again. By giving you bad news over and over again, they acclimatize you to bad outcomes. So before you know it, you become familiar with bad outcomes. You become comfortable expecting bad outcomes. And that's how they deform you into embracing scarcity. Now, worldlings are holding on to scarcity anyway. Okay, that's what worldlings do. Mainstream media makes it easy for you to hold on to scarcity because they bombard you with bad news over and over again. There's never a long-term solution offered, and there's never a long-term solution in place. So you get used to this pessimistic outlook on life that, oh, life can end any time. Life is so short. Oh, I can be replaced too, or whatever. They shape wrong expectations into you that go against the promises of the Heavenly Father. Why? To hinder you from doing God's will. That's why. That's what they're doing. That's why they use color codes. That's why they use witch language also. So mainstream media will report on things that happen. They will report things that happen, but when they make a report on something that happens, they'll always give it a twist. And that twist is to trick you into some scarcity thinking. That's what they're doing. For example, they made a report on some famine happened in Somalia. What they won't tell you is that months before the famine, a lot of the Somalian farmers were prepared and ready to stored a lot of the food supply. And now the places that are hurt by the famine, you have Arabs nearby giving aid to. So the famine is just one thing that happens. It's a bad thing. But they only focus on the famine as if all of Somalia is being killed by the famine. And they refuse to show you all the other positive things that are going on, how people deal with the famine constructively. Why? Because if they show you how the Somalians dealt with the famine in a constructive way, it would not benefit the white supremacist propaganda. You have to see the Somalians as people who can look after themselves. That's the program, the narcissist program to feed the masses. So that's why they will pick up one thing that goes wrong in Somalia, which is affection that goes wrong, and keep focusing on one thing, let's think that that's the only thing that goes on over there. And mainstream media does such things over and over again. So they don't have to fake an event, even though there are media stations that fake events, we call it fake news. They don't have to fake an event. They can use an actual event that happens, but they portray it in a negative daylight, or they'll focus on a negative thing around and only focus on that. So that's what mainstream media is doing. That's also gaslighting, because they are deforming your perception of life. And you end up acting on a deformed perception. And because you act on a deformed perception, you will face dysfunction and hardship in life. But because you're not aware you've been deformed, you have no clue what goes on. You know something is wrong, you know what's wrong. And this confusion you're in, not knowing what's wrong, is weighing you down. And if someone tells you it's mainstream media doing it towards you, tell them, come on, man, mainstream media doing it towards me. No, I just need to work hard and do this and that. No, 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 dude, it's not you. You've been deformed. And that's another thing with us human beings. We often have difficulty admitting when the community did us wrong. When the community neglected us or violated us, we have a hard time admitting they did it. We tend to look for the bad guy. Oh, it's the bad guy over there. Okay, let's say there's a child molester on the loose and he raped some of the children in the neighborhood. Be upset with the child molester as much as you want. Hold on a minute. Nobody noticed this guy was weird. Nobody picked up anything. You may tell them this guy had violations related to child porn, all of that, over and over again. He was still on the streets. So the police failed, the community failed, the church failed, everyone failed. And our children are hurt. And those children end up in dysfunctional adults. And as dysfunctional adults have all these mental issues you need to deal with. Because the community failed them. But sometimes, not sometimes, often people don't want to admit the community failed them, neglected them, or flat out violates them. People don't want to admit that because it's quite overwhelming, quite shocking to admit. So people tend to give excuses to the community. They didn't know any better, or they didn't have the manpower, they were stressed out. When you give excuses to the community for neglecting you or flat out violating you, it makes you feel good on the inside for a moment because you have to deal with the raw truth that the public really is monstrous. But by doing that, you are keeping yourself in pain, you keep yourself in dysfunction, and you do harm to yourself. You have to admit this is what happened, this is what the community is. Okay? But a lot of human beings, including believers, have a hard time admitting the community failed me, the community violated me, and the community neglected me. It's a very hard thing for a lot of people to admit. But we have to learn to admit those things. Amen? Let me see what's in the live chat. So, once you admit these things, now you can focus on the solution. But understand this, in gaslighting, you will never come to a solution because people claim that you are the problem while you're not. So you may think that you need to fix things about yourself. You may think that you made other mistakes, but later find out which mistakes, what they're talking about. How many of you have been through this, that you were so convinced that you did something wrong, or you were so convinced that you had to fix something, but you realized, oh, what was I thinking? You've been gaslighted. Someone tricked you to think that you were to blame for the community's failure towards you. So that the community had to face themselves. So the community got away blaming you for how they neglected you, how they violated you. And now you carry the burden for years. You carry stress for years, nights without sleep, whatever. So gaslighting happens anytime the community wants to hide something. So what do we do about gaslighting? It's very simple. You calm down and you check the time and what goes on. Very important. Calm down, don't react, especially when people are going off at you or blaming you or pointing the finger at you. Calm down, escape, walk away from the situation, and check the timing. If someone at work went off at you, calm down, if necessary, go outside, and later you find out this individual was going through a divorce, or this individual just wanted to had some kind of crisis going on. I realized, this individual just wanted me to be the dumb side there on the rest. Now they have something different going on. Or you may realize, I only performed well at work lately. How come the Sunday people are upset with me? Oh, they're upset you're outperforming them. You see what I mean? Check the timing. We need to learn to calm down and check the time what goes on. When you calm down and check the timing, that is how you stop gaslighting. Because gaslighting will only work if you remain unaware of it happening to you. The moment you are aware you're being gaslighted, it can't work anymore. So you have to believe that you're really guilty or to blame for what they're projecting onto you. Sometimes you are at fault for one thing, but now they're going to throw all these other things on you too. And because you were wrong with one thing, you admit you were wrong, now it's very hard for you to say, but I'm wrong with other stuff. Look, gaslighting is cruel. Gaslighting is horrible, but this thing happens over and over again. The easiest way to shut it down is to calm down and check the timing. Calming down also implies that you will leave the situation if people don't want to stop. And one more thing about gaslighting. Gaslighting is done more often by collective than by the individual. It's very hard for one individual to gaslight you. That individual needs the whole group to stand behind him for it to work. So I'm not going into all the strategies of gaslighting, because gaslighting goes down to one thing. You are put in a negative daylight because of something the rest wants to avoid. The rest wants to escape from something, and they put you in negative daylight, so all the negative focus on you, and none of the bad focus on them. That's what it comes down to. Politics does it, religion does it, mainstream media does it, the whole world does it. So it's a working thing. The way you shut down the effect of gaslighting on you is to calm down and check the timing. Simple as that. Here's another thing. If you are at fault about something, it's very easy to gaslight you because you have some fault somewhere. So always be ready to admit when you were wrong or when you could have been better or what you could have improved on and improve. Do your part. When you do your part, it's going to be very hard for others to want to gaslight you. Again, gaslighting is when the community wants to avoid facing something and they then make conflict or trouble with other people just so they don't have to deal with what goes on. Some people even get murdered because of this. So there's also the innocent that goes on. Also remember this, calm down, check the timing. When you calm down, you notice others are not calming down, peacefully walk away from the situation, simple as that. Peacefully walk away from the situation. And once you're out of the situation, now you can clear again and oversee the situation and realize, no, it wasn't me. It wasn't me at all. Don't spend years processing something you've never done. Don't spend years don't spend years processing something you've never done. Come on. So the only way not to fall for the gaslighting of society is by calming down and checking the timing. Once you check the timing, you will know when to get away with certain people on time. Simple as that. But understand the following also, gaslighting is so rooted in our cultures, so rooted in our daily lives, we often even realize that we're being gaslighted. Sometimes we participate in gaslighting other people and we're not even aware we're doing it. Gaslighting isn't pretending like what someone else said is nonsense. Gaslighting isn't just claiming something is true while it's not. Gaslighting is distracting the public with an artificial conflict. That's what gaslighting is. When people get upset about things they shouldn't be upset about, they're gaslighting you. When people want to be difficult with boundaries and all of that, they're gaslighting you. Because where are the boundaries when it comes to the government, or when it comes to their own parents, or when it comes to the people that raised them, or when it comes to the community as a whole, where are the boundaries there? People that talk about boundaries, and keep insisting on, you need to give in to my boundaries, respect my boundaries, they just want to control you. But it can't just come towards you and they want control over you. So they say, oh, I need to protect myself. That's why I have certain limits. Please respect my limits. It's just a way to control you. It's gaslighting. Simple as that. Amen. Hold on, let me just check and see what's in the live chat. So, I already explained to you how to how to shake up gaslighting off you. So this live stream doesn't have to go for that long, but just understanding gaslighting is something we all encounter. The reason why we often fall for gaslighting is because we react to what goes on around us. We don't respond. Learn to calm down and respond instead of react when you feel a certain way. Reacting by itself is not wrong, but reacting in daily life can be used against you. Especially if you later found out that your reaction was overreacted. You know what I mean? Learn to respond, not react. Too often we react without even doing a proper investigation of what's going on. We don't even check the timing, none of that. We just react based on what we think and feel. Stop doing that. Learn to examine the situation, look at the bigger picture, and respond in a constructive way. That's what we need to learn to do. Respond. Amen. God is good. Good. How long is the live stream going on? Hold on. Let me see. Oh, it's heading towards an hour already. So, I don't have to spend much time on gaslighting. So this live stream I'm going to shut down the live stream soon. Just understand gaslighting is when the public has something that they're hiding from. And they distract, and they want to face some things about themselves. Or they want to stay face from outsiders, so they're causing artificial conflict. Some of you have been the target of artificial conflict. People just turn on you, got very upset with you for a long term, and think, well, what goes on? They're gaslighting you. It was there for you. Okay? This whole pride of wanting to be left alone, the Rollings don't have it. Okay? If you can improve, improve. If people call you out on something that you can improve on, improve on. If they get upset with you for being short, I'm sorry, but that's not a crime to be short. Okay? You can't help how short you are. You can't increase your length. So in that case, you say whatever. But if they call you out on being a bit lazy, or if they call you out on being a bit neglectful, if they call you out on being a bit insensitive, if it's a minor thing, admit, you know what, I do better on that. You're right. Or what do you propose me to do about it? So showing your willingness to be constructive takes away every excuse that people can use against you. Because people that gaslight you, they want to have excuses for how they're treating you. But by you being constructive in behavior and attitude, it's very hard to come with excuses. Very hard. All right? Good. Now, are there any questions about this topic? Let me know in the live chat. Are there any questions? Let me know. I'm about to call some believers on the phone. So that's why I thought, you know what, let me just do this live stream first. So tell me, are there any questions about this topic? Let me know. Oh, by the way, I hope the camera quality, I hope the video quality is better now because I'm using an iPhone 14 now for recording. Yes, I got an iPhone 14 for the graphics. The graphics are quite good. I also use for recording. I'm an Android fan, as you all know, because it looks more masculine, but still. If the quote-unquote feminine iPhone can be beneficial now for the live streams, for transferring messages, I'll do it. Simple as that. It all goes for the glory of God anyway. For the glory of God anyway. Okay, let me see. All right, I just wait for 1 minute. If within 1 minute I get no answers about the live stream, God is good. All right. I don't think there could be any more questions now. Anyway, thank you for watching this live stream. Keep agreeing with Christ. And remember, respond. Don't react. Reacting by itself is not wrong, but sometimes reacting can get you in bigger trouble. Sometimes reacting can be fatal. So, respond in a Christ-centered way. That's it for now. Keep in Christ, be at peace, and I will see you next time. Shalom.